Ashfoot's Story, Chapter 1. Ash leapt at Mint, biting at their nose but not drawing blood. "Hey, get off, Ash!" Mint yelped, slapping her in the face with his tail. Ash stopped and sat down, wagging her tail happily as she looked up at her brother and grinned. "Hey, we should come up with code names for each other, for when we're disguised," Mint said, bouncing up and down happily. "Ooh, cool idea. I'll be Ashfoot and you can be Mintface," Ash responded, laughing. "Mintface? Really?" Mint asked, tilting his head. "That doesn't make any sense." Ash laughed and pounced at Mint again, pinning them to the dirt swiftly. Mint's mouth opened in a yelp of surprise, but a huge bang blocked out the noise. Ash released her brother's ear, and they both quickly scrambled to their paws. "That sounded like a hunter," Mint whimpered. Ash thought so too, and from the sound of it, the hunter was nearby, and she had only one thought as her brother darted towards the den. "Hide, hide, hide!" Ash ran with her brother to the den and squeezed in right behind them, feeling dirt brush against her pelts as she sank into the darkness. "Do you think they'll find us?" Mint whispered. Ash could tell he was next to her. She felt his fur, but the comforting darkness obscured her vision of him. "No, they're too big to get into the den, I hope," Ash whimpered as Mint and her shifted back as far as they could into the den. Another 2 gunshots followed, and Ash heard the screech of her mother somewhere in the distance. She felt Mint dart forwards and grab his tail in her jaws, pulling him away from the exit. Mint resisted at first, but then there was a crunch of leaves outside the den, and both pups fell silent. Suddenly, a sharp stick poked Ash in the side, and pain shot through where it had touched her, and to her horror, she let out a yelp of pain. In the darkness, Ash could vaguely see something coming towards her. She flailed, trying to get farther back to the den as a hunter's paw snapped down inches from her neck. Mint lunged at the hunter, and Ash wasn't fast enough to pull her brother back. She didn't fully see what had happened since it was so dark, but she heard his jaws snap down on the hunter's flesh, and after that the human howled in pain and anger. Suddenly, before Ash could do anything, her brother was snatched by the scruff of his neck. "Mint, no!" Ash howled, running right out of the den and charging at the hunters as they walked away holding Mint. She ran right at the hunters and clamped her jaws down on one's ankle. They let out a cry of shock, but Ash was focused too much on hanging on, and she did not notice the hand reaching for her neck. Mint called a warning, but it was too late, and Ash felt the hunter's hands clamp around her scruff and haul her off of their ankle. She thrashed and cried out, but heard Mint doing the same. But suddenly she felt a sharp pain in her neck. Ash opened her eyes and saw that a different hunter had stuck a needle in Mint's neck, and she twisted her head around and saw that a third hunter was doing the same to her. But she found her eyes slowly closing and her vision fading. Her brain told her to run and to fight, but her body told her to relax, and that the hunters weren't going to hurt her. She tried to snap at the hunter one more time before everything faded to a peaceful black, where her fears were no longer with her.